welcome back to another episode of Adeptus Podcastus. We are on episode 33, and Michael is still alive.
Yes.
Joining me, as always, is Remleiz from 40K Theories.
Hello, everyone.
And Michael from Tactica Imperialis.
Hello, everybody.
And let's get into it.
Absolutely, why not? So the first piece of news we had come in since the last episode was recorded.
You didn't even start by saying, in the news.
No, I didn't actually. I love that line. I actually skipped over it. Whoops. We're having a good day, aren't we? Yes, so the first piece of news that came out after we recorded the podcast was the release, or the announcement of the release of the Blood Angels, and their chapter focus and all the things going on. Now, that was the best part of 2 weeks ago at this point, so I'm not going to go through it in full detail, but is there anything in there that particularly needs drawing attention to?
Flying dreadnoughts.
Yes. Flying dreadnoughts. The most important thing in the entire codex, hands down, super important. Librarian dreadnoughts can now get Wings of Sanguinius again.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about that. Also, Chapter Approved came out, and I had the time to play a couple of games from it. I gotta say, it's really enjoyable.
Wait, it's out?
Yeah, I got my copy right there.
Oh, that's not completely past me that it was out.
Yeah, it's right there on my bookshelf. I'm looking at it, Michael.
Okay, fair enough.
It's a good thing that you're looking at, because he can't bloody look at it, can he?
I mean, he could just turn his head.
No.
See a fourth wall.
Anyway.
So yes, the chapter approved is also out. I have absolutely, as I say, I don't even realize it had come out, so I've got no idea what's in it for any army that wasn't already previewed because I didn't see it. I'm going to Games Workshop, I think, this weekend for an Age of Sigmar tournament, so I'll probably go and pick it up, even if it will be in French.
I mean, that doesn't affect you.
Not so much. And my friends at home will be picking up their own copies, so it'll at least give me a chance to look at it and talk about it, all that stuff. Because, well, Tau and Orcs both got stuff, which is good.
Yep, the Orcs got one that's insanely powerful. Mob Up is crazy good.
I'm listening.
All right, so Mob Up, you take a squad of 10 and combined it with a squad of 10 or more into one unit.
Okay, so they gave them platoons. Fine.
This is crazy because it affects your psychic, it affects morale, it affects how many power claws you actually throw into that squad, how effective the squad is, because now it's above 10, so it gets all of its bonuses back up. It gets around a few things. It gives vulnerable units a meat shield.
Yeah, definitely that will benefit you. Oh, burners. Oh, burners.
Yeah.
Oh,
Burners just got a meat shield.
Yeah, and honestly, that would also work if you wanted to use Mega Knobs if you don't mind a unit moving slowly. You can just use Mega Knobs as a massive bullet shield for your boy squad, even if you're going a little bit slower.
Yep, keep a pain boy nearby, ignore all the damage.
Does that apply
Go ahead.
I was going to say, it says a unit and a unit of 10 or more, correct?
Let me actually grab it really quickly, and I can tell you the exact wording.
I was going to say, because if it's 10 and 10 plus, or less than 10 and 10 plus, it sort of will change the meaning, and it also, does it exclude characters at the same time?
The unit has to be 10, so yeah, characters are excluded.
Okay, so the Mega Knob trick wouldn't work, the Burner trick won't super work.
Burners can go up to 15.
Well, yeah, okay, you need a lot of burners to make it work then. Still, it's very good to see, and I'm glad it's there.
All right, let me actually... Also, the Sisters of Battle ones, I do have a gigantic rant about Unkillable Celestine.
We'll do that in the rant section then, since we're actually...
Yep.
We have rants this week, for once.
But I do want to read this one really quickly, because I think it's a really, really good Orc Stratagem, and I kind of feel bad that I just sold off my Orcs. Use this stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select two Orc infantry units from your army that are within 2 inches of each other, that are from the same data sheet. I.e., choose 2 units of boys or 2 units of storm boys. If one of the unit has 10 or more models, the other has 10 or fewer models, The two units merge and for the rest of the battle are counted as a single unit for all rules purposes, meaning you only get 1 kill point for killing them.
But you can't fuse burners with a 30-man boy block meat shield. Same data sheet.
Yes, you can.
Data sheet.
Say what?
Says data sheet. They have to share a data sheet.
Oh, yeah, they do. Okay, that's still not bad. You can fuse 2 giant boy squads. Well, one 10-man boy squad and one 30-man boy squad.
It's a great kill point saver if you've just got like a damaged unit of shooter boys that you just need to roll in to keep alive, or if you just need more combat potential on 1 mega doom charge. And yes.
Or if you guys do go ahead and watch, and I'm going to plug really quickly, I am sorry, but if you watch my newest battle report, my buddy actually does it with commandos. And he formed a 25-man unit of commandos that was really tough to kill because commandos can take burners, can take knobs, and sneak rot was really close to them. And
that's not a bad combo.
Only one of them has to be in range of sneak rot for the entire unit now to gain the abilities.
Yeah, I fell out of love with sneak rot. I bought his model and I've since converted it because I just completely fell out of love with sneak rot. But I do appreciate how sneak rot works in this edition.
Also, I do want to talk about one more thing from Chapter Approved really quickly.
It's fine, it's news. We're in the news section. Go for it.
The Terminus Ultra went from being allowed in all games to a lowered point cost and only available in open play, which made me really sad.
For the sake of balance, that might not be a bad thing.
Actually, this thing was completely balanced. The Spartan Land Raider is not balanced.
Actually, that raises the point. How much stuff got changed? Has anything actually been, apart from the moved around? I know there's been point shuffles for a lot of units, but has anything actually been physically buffed or nerfed?
Going through Sisters of Battle's relics are pretty good. I'm going to get into those in my rant section.
I don't mean added. I mean, has a unit that currently exists been buffed or nerfed, as in had its rules fundamentally changed? Not had relics added to it, not had a points cost change. Has its rules been changed?
I want to say the terrain, the terrain for, what is it, the Eldar terrain, all got new rules and everything, and it did get a buff. Other than that, most people are just going to count it as forest and move on. There are new missions in this book as well, which... Yeah,
I'm looking forward to those.
I gotta say, they're really, really, really fun, and they actually make the game... They take away Alpha Strike from... They take away the Alpha Strike from a lot of the missions. Yes! And that actually comes up in my battle report against my friend Adam. And it's actually amazing because we both run Alpha Strike armies, and we literally had to piecemeal it and get to each other, and we met in the middle, and it was like a good, proper 5th edition game where you're just fighting for the middle of the board.
Now, call me old-fashioned, but oh flip yes.
Also, Remleiz is here.
On a completely unrelated note, I'm just looking on Games Workshop's website at the Golden Host for the Blood Angels, and I'm slightly disturbed that someone's painted the Sanguinor with a flesh-coloured face. It looks kind of creepy.
Ew, no. Oh, no.
Yeah, it looks like something from like an old Tudor painting or something. It looks... Yeah. I'm not a fan.
Oh, I am looking for buffs in here. I think the Tau definitely got a buff.
They needed it.
They desperately needed it. Apocalypse units went up and almost doubled in points.
Well, Apocalypse has also become much more of a thing. So, Apocalypse has been properly rolled in, as have Planet Strike and
yeah, we have Planet
Assault.
Strike and City Fight and Stronghold Assault.
So, I'm not complaining that things that are apocalyptically huge have had a price increase, because it's going to be... I think the point of super mega doom units, by which I mean pretty much anything of a Titan class plus super gargantuans, those units deserve to cost an arm and a leg, because, you know, they're not something you're supposed to spam. They're one-offs. They're army defining. They're not just something you tack on the end. They are the centerpiece, and they should reflect that in their cost and also their value.
Yeah, but some of them went up way too much. Like 1,500 points for a Warhound Titan that can only kill 2 units a turn is a bit much for me.
2 units a turn.
Yeah, but only if they're other Titans.
If you told me pay 7, if you okay, I'm in a 3,000 point game. Half your army over the course of the game will delete 10 enemy units. I'll bite your hand off for that.
Well, no, think about it like this. You have, say you're fighting Eldar. They have a Phantom Titan, and, you know, just clowns in the middle, because Eldar. Okay? On your side, you have the Warhound and a Warhound. Those 2 Warhounds and those 2 Phantom Titans will only be super effective against each other if they bring their Titan killer weapons. They will not be able to damage the smaller units as much. Now, that being said, they can bring infantry killing weapons, like the Flamestorm cannons on the Titans, which makes them unassaultable.
Oh god, yeah.
But they're not... I felt that they were balanced, and now, granted, that could be me talking because I have a Warhound, and I have fielded it in low-point games just to have some fun with it.
And I think that's maybe why it's not... I think in the high-point games, that change will be negligible, but it's to stop you bringing them into small-point games where people can't fill an army with proper answers, I think.
Actually, infantry squads can kill Titans in, like, 1 turn. Well, then again, that's IG, and they're IG. They can kill anything in 1 turn.
And you have to have an army that you have to build around being a Titan killer, whereas you go to a 2,000-point tournament.
Not necessarily. If you build infantry squads, infantry wins games this edition.
Yeah, okay, true. As long as you're not tabled, you do win. That's fair.
And it's one of those things where I think that they were balanced as is, but now I think they're a little bit more balanced. But yeah, I kind of disagree with some of the point increases.
I can see why they've done it. Maybe if they were already fine, okay. If they're still fine, okay. I can see why they've done it. I can justify it, even if maybe it was playing it a bit safe. I can see why they've done it.
Yeah.
In other news, they've announced what the next gang for Necromunda is going to be. It's going to be House Orlok.
Oh yeah, I think
nice.
I saw that.
Because Gabriel decided to put a trailer up for it, which is pretty cool. So I'd like to see who comes out next.
Well, we've got the Hive Scum coming from Forge World as well.
Yes, they'll probably be hired guns, won't they? So.
Yes, true.
Apparently there's Genestealer cult in the book, like described in the book.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me because in the first edition Necromunda, they also had rules in the back for going against Genestealer cults, Chaos Space Marines, Orks, and Eldar Rangers.
So if they do include the Genestealer, like the Genestealer cult would fit right in.
Oh yeah,
it'd probably be for special missions though, because you also got the Orks because at one point during the Great Crusade, Orks assaulted Necromunda, spores.
Well, I mean, Orks have assaulted everything and everywhere.
Yeah, I've noticed that. That is definitely a thing.
And according to Gav, there's even Orks on fucking Terra.
Well, yeah, because don't forget, an Orc stepped into the Imperial Palace.
Still ridiculous.
And spoke perfectly fluent High Gothic.
I do like that he did address some of the older fluff and said he wished he wrote it better.
I think that's the wish of every author. They could go back and look at something that and I could do that better now.
I just love the fact that Kelmon in Ghost Warrior is the same Kelmon from the Bill King story, Farseer. So I'm very happy about that.
Yep, that was cool.
Nice little Easter egg.
Indeed. We've also had some FAQs for Grey Knights and Tyranids, if you are one of those players. I don't know how much has changed. I haven't had much of a chance to look, but that's a thing.
Yeah, I still need to get my Tyranid Codex. I've just been waiting.
Why?
Because we're waiting to do an order at my shop, and I'm just like sitting there like, I should get this, but I should probably buy Christmas presents for my family, or I could just get something for myself and forget my family.
Just buy them
Both.
Warhammer stuff and say, oh, if you don't want it, I'll take it off your hands then.
Well, I did that a couple of years ago with a Snuggie.
The fuck's a smeggy?
It's like a bathrobe, but you wear it backwards because you're special.
Okay.
So,
Yes,
so someone who was good at marketing noticed someone wearing a dressing gown the wrong way and said, I can market this.
Yes, and make it into a blanket, which is the best idea ever.
So just get a normal dressing gown and put it along the wrong way.
Yeah.
It'd be cheaper.
Or I could get a Snuggie, which is made out of warm and happiness.
There's no such thing as warm and happiness.
Slanesh exists.
There's no such thing as warm and happiness.
You imperial bastard. Anyway. Oh, one of the other things that I wanted to bring up in the news. This has been going around the tournament scene, so Michael hasn't heard of it.
I've been completely excommunicated from everything, so I haven't heard of anything, but go on.
A lot of tournaments are talking about smite spam being too powerful. Even with all the points increases and everything, smite spam has still proven to be one of the most powerful things in the tournament scene.
Didn't they just nerf it?
They didn't nerf smite spam.
Oh, I thought something got nerfed regarding smite.
No, this is the thing that might get nerfed. So, what a lot of tournaments around my area, the local tournaments, not the GTs, not the GT that I'm going to next month, which I'm super excited about, but a lot of the tournaments are actually putting a limit on smite for 3 per turn. And I really kind of do wish GW would look into that a little bit more.
Well, they've done it before.
Yeah, because smite just seems like really good now. Grey Knight smite would still be unaffected because it's a special unit smite, and it's only 1 wound, so it's not as terrible. But you had things like just a ton of named characters shooting out smite was ridiculous.
Well, you're saying Games Workshop might look into it. They've done it before. Age of Sigmar in match play has you can only cast each spell, every single spell, including the basic spell Arcane Bolt, once per turn. There is a hard cap, and it's annoying, but then again, there's also no power dice type mechanics, and not necessarily power dice anymore here. But yeah, it's not like there isn't a precedent for it, so I could see it happening. If Smite is really that out of control, I think that next year's chapter approved will include it if they don't nerf it in the meantime.
You mean the next 6 months?
Oh, is chapter approved to be 6? I thought it was every 12.
Apparently they're going to be doing something every 6 months.
Okay, fair enough. I assumed because the general handbook's every 12 that it would be every 12 for chapter approved.
Yeah, and I know they're filling the gaps in between with FAQs.
Yep,
the new GW is awesome, by the way, and they need to continue doing what they're doing.
Yeah, the new GW isn't perfect, but it is a vast improvement, so props.
Indeed.
I would say they're seeking perfection.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes.
No.
Stop it, Rogaldorn.
Returning to the news, we have another upcoming Astartes Codex, which is, of course, the Dark Angels.
Which has one of the best stratagems in it ever.
Yeah. I think we're agreeing on this one.
The one where you punch a wolf and become better.
Yep. So this stratagem is called the Lion and the Wolf. I saw this and I was grinning from ear to ear. Choose this stratagem before the battle if your army includes any Space Wolf infantry. Choose a Dark Angels infantry and a Space Wolf infantry model in your army. Roll the dice for each model on a 4 plus to take a mortal wound. Each model then increases its strength, attacks, weapon skill, and leadership by 1, and you can only use this once per battle. Now, obviously, this is best on characters, but you don't have to use it on characters. You can use it on sergeants if you think they won't die. Or just Terminators. You do it to Terminators.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or a Terminator character.
Well, yes, that goes without saying. They're getting their new Primaris units like everybody is, including their special little lieutenant who is called Zachariah, which is nice. And if we look at their chapter focus, we see the return of Grim Resolve. I used to think this was horrible in like old editions because Overwatch was broken. Not so much anymore. So Grim Resolve has two effects. You are rerolling ones on all shooting attacks, including Overwatch, if you don't move. And you can never lose more than one model at a time as the result of a morale check.
So the Valhallans.
Valhallan had the morale one. I thought the reroll or hit rolls of one as long as you don't move. I didn't think that was a Valhallan trick.
No, that's Cadian, I think. With their tanks.
I'm not sure where that's drawn from. But yes, that is a thing you can do. And that is bad because Overcharge exists. That is terrifying because Overcharge exists.
No, just be like me. Every time I overcharge my weapons with Gilliman standing next to him, he goes, "Hey, buddy, don't worry. Overcharge your weapon. You'll be perfectly fine." Double ones.
Oh, thanks for your Primarch.
You're such a terrific guy. Like, no joke. I had a command squad evaporate itself before killing an enemy. And I was just like, how? How do the dice gods hate me this much?
You didn't pray to RNGesus.
No, they just want me to play Sisters of Battle more, where I don't need to roll to hit.
And speaking of overcharge and shenanigans, you can also give a Dark Angel's unit plasma weapons +1 damage for a shooting phase.
Well, they've always been like the Dark Angels started off with the gimmick of they're the plasma guys, and now they're really starting to fill that role with the plasma talons, the Black Knights, and all of their different types of plasma weapons. In fact, their army actually makes Devastators with plasma cannons worth taking.
Yeah,
because
go on.
Because as it stands right now, the most used Devastators, and it's argued between the two, is las cannons and missile launcher. The plasma cannon is forgettable.
Also makes sense. I mean, the whole Dark Angel plasma gimmick that popped up, it was in 6th edition, was it, when the plasma gimmick popped up? Because I don't remember it before that.
Well, it was always in the Dark Angels lore.
Oh yeah, they've always had access to esoteric like weapons. That's been their gimmick from day one. But like, I never saw it in a rules sense until 6th edition, I don't think.
Also, I'm kind of hopeful for that codex that it includes the other wings instead of just the Raven Wing and the Death Wing. I kind of wanted to include the Fire Wing.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
I don't even know if they exist. I think they don't exist
really
anymore.
like the Fire Wing though.
Yeah, that.
Oh yeah.
You know the rule. If it's awesome and in the lore, it's not going to be in a codex.
Especially if it's Heresy era.
Exactly.
I
mean, after all, it's why sisters don't have a codex, Alexis.
Hey, okay, listen here. Listen here, you mechanical shit.
That was a bird Vulcan would be proud of.
Nah. 1,000 Suns didn't
we've
get
also
burned as I do.
The Dark Angels also now have more land speeder heroes.
Why?
Because
land speeders are bad.
Ravenwing lieutenants known as Talon Masters can now serve alongside Samuel with specially modified land speeders that are... What have we got? They ignore cover for all Ravenwing within 6 inches, and all the Ravenwing within 6 inches also reroll 1s to wound.
Oh my god, you combine that with their Black Knights, you give them the plasma bonus, and they're just gonna tear apart anything.
Are they so bad now?
Well, I've never said they were bad.
It sounded like you just said they were bad. Or maybe I misheard.
I love the Dark Angels. I've run the Dark Angels.
Sorry, I thought you were taking a dunk on the whole land speeder thing.
No, I just think it's silly, but do they have the character keyword?
It doesn't... I can't see their full data sheet, but they are lieutenants, so I can't see them not.
Because if you have a vehicle with the character keyword sitting behind nearly an unkillable unit, that's kind of really good. And depending on the options that land speeder gets, it can fly up, use double heavy flamethrowers, and just have the bikes around it so you can't even assault it. And it can just keep firing and moving because it has the fly keyword.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. All right, I kind of really like them now. All right, you got me. I like them.
Yeah, Dark Angels will be interesting. I'll say that.
But will they be able to ally with Chaos?
I highly doubt it.
They are not heretics.
Also, will Cypher be in it?
Well, we don't talk about that half.
Well, actually, that's a point, because if Cypher wasn't in the Chaos Space Marine Codex, then he'll be in the Dark Angels one would imagine.
But he had the Chaos keyword back in the day.
He still has the Chaos keyword.
Yeah, good point, he does. So, if he's in the Dark Angels Codex, will he lose the Chaos keyword?
Maybe not. Maybe he'll just be a special character, like, just has that, and you can use him in, I don't know, Chaos Space Marine and Imperial Guard armies as a special character. May also include 1 or 2 units of Fallen for plus X amount of points.
Well, they might just have the Fallen in there as well.
As a sub-faction or something. That'd be interesting.
They haven't made mention of it, and Hunt the Fallen is a stratagem they have, so it will be interesting.
Give the Fallen Hunt the Fallen stratagem. It was like, hey, we found us.
Now,
we've been here the whole time.
It's like, I'm Fallen, I'm Alfarius.
Get out. That joke is bad and you should feel bad.
Now, in what may be the coolest little bit of news, Black Library's March preview. Oh my god, the book's in here. Okay, so Jagtai Khan is getting a full dedicated novel. Thank fuck.
Well, yeah, part
it's
of
going
the
to be a
series.
Don't worry, it's going to be just as boring as all of his other books.
It is by the same guy.
Scars was actually pretty good.
All right, I'm not going to say they're bad books, but I'd rather listen to Descent of an Angel.
It's focused on the Librarius. It's like focused on like the conflict caused by the implementation of the Librarius. Oh shit, that's interesting.
I still need to read some of the other ones because I've read the Lorgar one, I've read the Fulgrim one, which still has the best scene ever with the spaceman at the buffet table. That's fucking same magnifique. But I'm more interested in what's going to happen with some of the other characters coming out, because obviously Rabute Gilliman's, that's basically before he got reunited with the Emperor, as was Lorgar's. Perturabo, I think, ends him with the rebellion on Olympia. So I want to see what happens when you get, say, Korax or Kurz or Angrons. Like, will Angrons be him?
Well, we've got Magnus and Russ's as well. I haven't followed those.
I'm just imagining Angron's book just being a bunch of angry grunts.
I was thinking, well, would it be detailing his life when he was a gladiator?
Yeah, is it pre or post-Emperor? That's the good question. Because this, obviously, with Khan is post-Emperor.
Yeah.
But as you said, with like Lorgar, some of them are pre-Emperor.
Yeah, Lorgar and Gilliman's are pre-Emperor. Fulgrim's was literally like a few months after being reunited with the Emperor when he only had 200 members of his legion.
Yeah.
These are just really good.
I would like to see, when I do Kurz, I would like to see him just when he's in his full Batman years, just dealing justice on the streets of, Nostromo Quintus.
That book would just basically be Spawn the book.
Now be Batman.
No, he's not Batman. The dude is Spawn.
He's Batman.
Oh, he's
Spawn.
Ultraviolence. It's Batman with ultraviolence.
Yeah, Spawn.
No, just Frank Miller's Batman.
No, you guys, you'd never read the Spawn comics like I have. He's literally Spawn.
No, he's not. He's not going to have that full amount of religious overtone.
Okay, actually, yes. Yeah, there's still religious overtones in his friggin' fluff.
Not when he was before meeting up with the Emperor. That we know of.
Yeah. Well, maybe it might go into it.
Yes, ends up fighting a guy called the Redeemer, who ends up not being the Spawn guy, but the guy from Necromunda, I'm glad you got the joke.
That's
Sorry.
good. That's good. I like that.
I was looking at the next novel. I've gone.
I was just going to say, the Redeemer was like one of the characters from Spawn. So,
That's completely out of my head then. The next novel that is previewed here is Ashes of Prospero, which is actually one of Gav's. And it is about a force of space wolves led by Niall going to Prospero itself.
Is it bad that I heard it? I heard you say meow.
Yes, it's bad.
Is this going to have another thing about Lorgar the Furry again?
It is going to be Lorgar the Furry.
For God's sake.
Speaking of which, do you want to give that guy a shout out while we're at it?
Yes, I think we should. If you haven't seen it yet, and I think we should probably link a playlist to it in the description, there is a guy who has actually done our new intro that you've probably seen, and he's been doing little animations, little snapshots of the podcast, and they're fully animated, and they are
adorably hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah, just go and watch them, for God's sake.
This guy deserves to have freaking thousands of subscribers. Like, he is amazing.
So yes, his channel is linked in the description. He's the intro guy. Go and give the, I think they're called Adeptus Animaticus, which is such a fantastic title. I love it. Go and give those a watch if you enjoy seeing little funny moments from the podcast, and be sure to subscribe over there because, well, they are good fun. Returning to the Gav Thought novel very quickly, it says it ties into his little audio drama, The 13th Wolf, which talks about the pursuit of the 13th Company after the Thousand Suns, and they're going to tie that in. Ooh, I'm intrigued.
You've also got the new Kakaradon novel coming out as well.
Indeed we do. Outer Dark, which is basically what happens when you put Kakaradons alongside Guardsmen. Wow.
Against the Nids.
Against Tyranids, yeah. Just in case you weren't.
Of course, Tyranids.
First of all, Guardsmen.
This
On both
is a poor planet.
Yeah.
And if anyone plays Age of Sigmar, there's also a new Nagash novel coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is fantastic because, we need death and destruction lore, but we're not going to go into it now. There is an interview here with Guy Haley regarding the devastation of Baal, which we should probably run through very quickly.
Okay.
Because it sounds like it's a sequel to the Dante novel, or it's a pseudo-sequel. So if you've read the Dante novel, it will help. It also gives a little bit of context of what's going on. So it's obviously the siege of Baal. The Blood Angels have called back literally everybody they've got. Everybody but the Lamenters, actually.
Because nobody likes yellow.
Wait, what?
The Lamenters, they're yellow. Nobody likes yellow.
Apart from Rogue Dawn.
No.
All those people who like to play as Marines Malevolent. AKA the arseholes of the Imperium.
Either way, Yellow Marines is a dumb concept.
But yes, yeah, I don't have a problem with the Imperial Fist, just for the record. Yeah, this. Yeah, the devastation of Baal is going to be a very interesting read. It says it's going to be the greatest assembly of Space Marines since the Horus Heresy against trillions of Tyranids.
It's okay. Commander will come and save the day.
Hey.
And he actually makes a point about this. A big book is a fitting way to kick off a new series. Another was turning what could have been an instance of Deus Ex Machina into a legitimate subplot.
Deus Ex Commander.
And he actually had to come up with a kill list for approval with the design studio.
We want to kill 11 chapter masters. What?
Well, yeah, because I remember with some of James Swallow's novels, he wanted permission to kill off Fabius Bile, and Game Freak was like, no.
No. Yeah, so interesting. The fact that he's had to come up with a kill list to get it approved. I wonder who he asked to kill and who's going to die. obviously Seth, Dante, Mephiston, they'll live.
Well, considering Gabriel Seth just had a new audio drama come out today called The Assassination of Gabriel Seth.
That's not going to be in the massive fight with the Tyranids, but yes, good point.
Yes.
And he says he wants to write a third book in this series as a follow-on to talk about the integration with the Primaries Marines, as well as going back to Dante's appointment and how he got the job. So, but he's saying there's no plans there, so it's just interesting.
And it turns out, sorry, you're being replaced. What? Who by? Oh, you got a transfer over from the Ultramarines. He's half Eldar, half Space Marine. His name's Ilya Nastase. He's now going to be the new chapter master of the Blood Angels.
Oh my god.
And people who were around his first edition be like, oh my god, no. And people be like, what? And
First edition was hilarious.
Thing is, I know that story, and I'd still be going, what the hell?
It's not that bad. Well, it is bad, but
it is really bad.
It's not as bad as some things. Also, going to the subject of Gene Seed, I remember having some people tell me that the Canis Helix isn't part of the Space Wolves Gene Seed, even though it is.
You what, mate?
Because Lehman Russ does have canine DNA in his genetic makeup. It's proven in Deliverance Lost. It's proven in Deliverance Lost, because we got the Primarch genetic material and found these sequences have like canine DNA, reptile DNA, avian DNA.
Also, the Space Wolves were literally probably on the verge of falling apart until Russ came along to stabilize the Canis Helix. So, it's Gene Seed.
He's got a whole bunch of Dougie DNA.
Did they say actually that I almost don't want to ask this because I know it's going to get animated, but those other DNA sources like reptile and avian, like who got that?
Take a wild guess.
Yeah, who are the reptile and avian chapters?
Well, the salamanders, the blood angels, and the raven guard. It goes without saying.
Yeah, no Pecco the gecko.
Yeah, well, considering the fact that when some of the raptors started mutating, they started sprouting talons. Guess who got the bird DNA?
Yeah, it's kind of obvious. Guess who got the shark DNA?
That I'm curious about.
I'm just wondering, like, all I can think is Arkan Lion standing next to the Emperor, and the Emperor just shape-shifting into different things. Okay, take my blood. Fuse this in there. Why? My lord, I'm not here to question you. But at the same time, I have to ask, what the hell is a bird going to do to the Space Marines? Oh, some of them might get wings. Are you properly planning this out? Nah, that'd be cool.
This one's going to have hamster DNA. He'll be able to.
No, it's just.
He'll be able to stuff a whole bunch of ammunition into his cheeks so he can, go for long journeys.
And it's literally just the Emperor with Arkan Lion just sitting there shape-shifting into different animals.
Thing is, the Emperor probably could shapeshift. Like, he's the Emperor. He probably can.
Well, we know he can shapeshift because he's done it multiple times.
Has he?
Yes, he's done it to Vulcan, he's done it to Lion, and... Well,
good point.
That's about it.
He did Fulgrim as well. He did sort of disguise himself.
Yeah, Fulgrim as well. But I'm just imagining
Everyone.
He's just like, yeah, like Arkan Lion is just sitting there like, why don't we put like dinosaur DNA into them? That'd be kind of cool.
It's the bird.
We don't go into stupid animals. We want them to have cool animals. You just mixed one with a hamster.
Can we put monkey DNA in one of them? Oh, is that the thing with this venomous sting in the tail? It's like, no, it hangs from trees. Well, that's retarded.
Arkan Lion is just sitting there like, well, what about land monkeys? Because remember, monkeys are split up into two categories.
So, hang on. So, if the Emperor shapeshifted and gave someone gorilla DNA, does that mean at some point in time the Emperor was Harambe?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh my god.
The child he saved was actually Malkador.
Like Malkador has to come in. Hey, stop doing this to the GNC. Okay, honey, I'll stop.
Actually,
are
I
you
have
insinuating
some.
that the Emperor and Malkador are a gay couple?
Yes, always.
Actually, I have.
I will ship them to the day I die.
Actually, I had a commenter who, you have those commenters who like roleplay certain characters. You know the ones.
Yes.
I had someone who was actually doing it as Malkador, and he was like, I fucking told the Emperor. I forget the exact details of the comment, but it's like, I effing told him X, Y, and Z regarding. Let's see if I can find it. Oh yeah, I can't tell you the number of times I tried to get him to just tell the bloody Primarchs about chaos.
Hey, I'm just imagining friggin' Magnus for the first time, experiencing the warp and everything. Wow, this is just flat out magic. This is amazing. I should tell the Emperor about this. Hey, Dad, what's this magic stuff? Shut up. Don't use it. But, I mean, we could literally pull and harness energy from it, and we could do almost anything with it.
Magnus,
It's literally...
your job, Magnus, is to simply not fuck up. Well, that's hard.
Legit. Michael's gone.
Oh,
anyway.
He's gone flying. Whoops.
Uh-oh, he died. No, but, he's sitting there, and Magnus is just like, but, sir, we can... But, Dad, we can literally shape this with our mind. We can do anything we want with it. Yeah, no, don't touch it. But why did you make me have these abilities? Yeah, I was trying to make you... No, he's just sitting there. He's like, yeah, I was trying to make you a woman, and I don't know what one of those are.
Oh, dear.
Obvious joke is obvious.
Indeed.
Yeah, but I still love that the Emperor screwed up so much.
What was that thing Gilliman said? He was a great leader, a great general, but a shit dad.
Well, yeah, he really is. The Emperor had no idea what to do with his children. And also, he didn't regard them as children. He regarded them as pieces. He's like, they're just useful.
Hello,
like
my
that
name's
whole
number
scene,
19.
Like that whole scene with him sitting
Well, he did
there
have names for them.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
he
number
named
19,
them, but...
number 18, number 17.
No, well, Tyrion had a name. Because,
I know.
Draco.
Yeah.
But,
we don't talk about
he's sitting
Draco.
there, and Master of Mankind, when he's working on Angron, he's just like, yeah, we could remove these nails and he might die. I kind of don't want to. He's still kind of useful. We could just kill him and start over. And the Emperor's just like, yeah, no, but I don't really want to. Seems like a lot of work. It took centuries to make these guys. You did it in your basement in 5 minutes. Yeah, but that was centuries. No, you gotta stop exaggerating time. Yeah, but no.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho.
And then it turns out the Emperor was Sigma all along.
The end. And Malkador is actually Caldor Drago, who went back in time and took off his armor to race him.
He's Ulrich.
From Code Lyoko?
No, from Warhammer.
Or the Slayer.
No, I'm still going with my bad reference.
No, not Ulrich the Slayer, the other Ulrich. God of Middenheim, whatever it is.
Yeah, the cat person.
White Wolf guy. Yeah, sorry.
No, he's a cat.
I'm surprised there wasn't a feline-themed legion, like the Emperor's Tigers or something like that.
Yeah, like the Emperor's Lions.
Yeah, that's actually a valid point, because actually none of them even used anything like that for heraldry.
Lionel Johnson, who literally had a lion on his chest.
Yeah, that's because his name was Lion.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard not to use a lion as your heraldry when your name is Lion. It's like having your name as Falcon and not using a falcon.
Also, the Dark Angels didn't use lion heraldry pretty much at all. They got
no, they were really angelic.
Yeah, Lion's gear is lion themed, like the lion helm and the lion blade, but they don't really look that much like lion themed. They're just named that. They don't really have any heraldry that goes with it.
All right, I think we covered all the news and a random tangent.
Oh yeah, that's what this podcast is good at. It's full of random tangents. We're very good at it.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, that is the entire point of the exercise.
So do we want to do our rants first or go into
Questions first.
questions?
Go questions, and then we'll finish with
Questions.
rants.
Oh, I wanted to talk about your broken sisters.
The what systems?
The broken sisters of battle.
All I heard was...
Well, half of the time it's demonic chanting, but it happens.
You play it backwards, and it's like, don't eat biscuits.
Oh shit! I just lost half the question. Because
I don't eat biscuits. I eat chips. Oh wait, I forgot. You're British. You don't know what a chip is.
Yeah,
A
you
chip
do.
is
So you
what
have
you
your
call-
fish.
That's
Yes.
disgusting. You don't eat fish. Fish are gross.
You're just uncultured.
Your face is uncultured.
I tell you what, though, I'd be very down for a chippy right now. I'd be so down for a chippy.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
What's
I'm
wrong with that,
imagining
chippy?
a chimp. Like,
How the hell do
All
you
right.
imagine a chimp when talking about fish and
because you
chips?
said a chippy.
Yeah, we're called fish and chip shop.
No, that's what Steve Irwin called his pet monkey.
Who?
All right, I am done trying to make random references. I promise.
Well, you can make random references, just don't make random references that are entirely centralized to America because nobody gives a fuck.
Steve Irwin is from Australia.
This is my
What's
point.
Steve Irwin got to do about this?
It's my point to go and shut up, isn't it?
All right, just read questions.
Yeah, actually, I want to start. There's actually a really. Considering Remleiz is making weird noises again, then where do we start?
What
There
do
was
you
one
mean
here.
I'm making weird noises again? Excuse me. I'm
What
not the
you
one
did?
sitting there laughing about a chimp.
You did for a second.
Yeah, but not as much as Alexis. I'd take offence at that.
Well, I'm only asking because somebody asked, where is it?
It's the demon voice again.
No, it was, what are the names of the other Chaos Gods, seen as, Khorns?
Oh, that's easy. It's and then there's and there you go. That's easy.
Nice.
All right, somebody needs to record all the random sounds. Like, go through all of our podcasts ever, record every random sound that Remleiz has ever made, and make it into like the new beat of 2018.
Oh, God. Right,
If you do that, I will give you a hug.
How are you going to make that into a beat? It hasn't even got any percussion.
It doesn't matter. I will make it happen.
If you actually, you won't know who they are. Never mind.
Wait,
But
what?
yeah, fair enough. There's a guy who takes like voice clips of like a series of YouTubers and makes them into songs, so it can be done.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Anyway,
Is that a guy who did a song? Was it Pogo? What's his name?
I don't know. I know him for the songs he's done with that group of YouTubers. But anyway,
So I know Pogo did a song about Murlocs, just using a whole bunch of Murloc sounds.
I don't think it's that guy.
It was like going like essentially. And Alexis on the floor now laughing. I can imagine.
No, I'm sitting here like I've been living in the warp now for a couple 10,000 years. I have never heard anything as weird as Remleiz.
You mean you've never heard Murlocs before? God.
I was going to say that was just Murloc noises.
Yeah, that's quite tame by my standards.
I can't even respond to this.
Then let's move on and have a question, shall we? This person was wondering if the Astartes legions, or I should say chapters, are still allowed or able to take adults and turn them into semi-space marines, or better known commercially as I Can't Believe It's Not Astartes.
Best question ever. Actually, in the comic book series, the Dark Angels regularly recruit adults.
The Will of Iron series, you mean?
In the Will of Iron, they recruit two. They have two adults that are they're like pseudo Astartes, and they have There's another comic book series that shows them with adults.
Oh, is that the Black Templar one?
I think so. I have to go back through it, but I know that they still do it. It's just they don't become. They're not Space Marines. Like, they don't have all the full organ implants and everything. because only one of them requires you to grow up with it in order to gain the access to the other abilities that a Space Marine has.
Essentially, they become mini Corferons.
Yes, but sometimes
But not
they
as much of a
can...
cunt.
Well, it depends what chapter they are. I'm pretty sure, you know,
Actually,
you have...
if you think about who the pseudo Space Marines were, we had Corferon, we had Luther.
Well, we know about the named ones. We know that half of the Dark Angels were turned into pseudo Space Marines.
Be like, of all the ones we know, I can't think of any who weren't diabolically evil dicks. Whatever you think of Luther, Luther isn't quite that bad, but you get where I'm going with this.
Hey, Luther just needs a kiss from his Prince Charming to wake up.
For God's sake, stop living in dead holes.
Asleep. Lion's asleep.
Oh.
Luther's just in a stasis cell going, he'll forgive me! He'll forgive me!
Okay, look, have you ever broken up with a boyfriend?
I can't say I have broken up with a boyfriend because I've never had a boyfriend.
Well, there you go. See, it's very hard on you. You know, sometimes you go insane for 10,000 years, and it's just one day, you know, maybe he'll call you.
Don't worry, I'm sure Magnus Red still loves you.
You know what? I hate you!
You walked right into that. You walked willingly, head first into that. I'm sorry, I have no
You don't
sympathy.
walk with your head, Michael.
You know what I meant. You knew that was coming, and you did it anyway.
I'm
Actually,
sure some
I kinda
people in the
forgot
warp
about
do
that.
walk with their head.
Yes.
This is a question that I can't really answer because, again, I'm miles out of the loop. There was something about there was a slip-up on a Games Workshop stream recently.
Oh, this is
And
like the Sanguinius thing.
Yeah, this is the Sanguinius thing. What?
You know what? Until Games Workshop makes an official announcement about Sanguinius, I suggest that we avoid questions about it.
All you got to
Because
do in regards to Sanguinius
the question
just
is
look.
basi-
All you got to do is just look in the new Blood Angels Codex and see if it says Sanguinius is dead. That's all you got to see.
Well, because the Dark Eldar are kind of cloning them. Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on.
That'd be Spark did it
question.
first.
Fabi's
question-
file did it better.
Speaking of, going back a very long way, and speaking of Angron, what would his personality have been like if he had never had the Butcher's Nails? And as a follow-up, do you think he'd have still gone traitor?
Oh, he was a gentle giant. He was basically like Vulcan. He just wanted a hug.
Oh my god, I can imagine that. He's just a Vulcan. He's just like, brothers, come and give me a hug. Let me show you how to actually fight and defend
You
yourself.
have to do it with a Russian accent.
I can't do it with a Russian accent. I'm a New Yorker.
Well, do it with an Irish accent then. I don't know.
Accents are not easy. You
hello
realize
there,
that?
brother. Come and give me a cuddle. Oh, I missed you so much, brother. See, it's not that hard.
That is such a caricature. It's fucking ridiculous.
I'm allowed to make fun of it. I have Irish blood. I'm allowed to make fun of it.
I'm half Irish. I still don't do
So am I.
that. Anyway,
I think he would have been a gentle giant.
He would
I don't know
love to
if I
give
could-
everyone a bit of
I-
a cuddle.
I don't know. Which obsession is more annoying? The Space Wolves and their wolves, or the Blood Angels and blood?
The wolves.
No, I'd have to give it to the Blood Angels because Mephiston, really? Come on.
How is that as bad as, having a guy called Canis Wolfborn, which is basically like Dog Wolfborn?
Look, all I'm saying is a furry named all of the Space Wolf stuff, and a freaking emo kid named everything in the Blood Angel stuff.
Admittedly, Dante was kind of an inspired choice. Actually, hang on, no, 40k is probably older than Devil May Cry. Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was going to say, never mind then.
40k
It was-
has been going since like 1987.
I didn't know if Dante was that old. Though.
It's just had its 30-year anniversary.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if Dante was that old, though.
Yeah, Dante was 2nd edition, so like 1993.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
And still has the same fucking model.
Well, you see, Sisters of Battle should get them first.
Well, no, because Sisters of Battle didn't have their dedicated models till 1997. I think Dante's
Who
got
cares?
I think
I
Dante's
want
got a
Sisters,
4-year.
damn it.
He's got like a 4-year head start. I mean, let's be honest, Khan and Araman just got their models updated, and they were around the same time. Typhus didn't really come until 3rd edition anyway, so he don't count. So we're just waiting for Abaddon to get a new model, and then we'll move on to the Sisters.
Which is horrifically overdue, by the way.
Yeah.
I weirdly, I don't, apart from like a couple of things, I don't have a huge issue with Abaddon's model. It just
doesn't stay together. Yeah,
I think it's the material that lets it down as much as anything.
Even the old metal one didn't stay together. That's why the old Abaddon, the armless things came from, because unless you pinned it, the arms would keep falling off, because he had such a tiny connecting point. And they were so big and so heavy. Well, you have to either use a drill, and pin it into place, or use epoxy resin. And even then, it'll still fucking break.
Yeah, I see the problem.
There's even a problem back in the days before they used white metal when they used lead. That was awesome, the fact that you get an issue of White Dwarf, look at the models at the back and say, warning, these models contain lead, which is harmful if chewed or swallowed. Makes you wonder, what made Games Workshop think that it was a good idea to use lead?
Who knows?
Cost, maybe.
Yeah, that's probably it. Okay, when a new chapter is formed, how do they go about picking a name? Do they just spin 2 wheels, one with nouns and the other with verbs?
Yes.
Actually, from what I've seen, it tends to come from the assigned chapter master's nickname.
It does in some cases, yeah.
Like, if you look at the Black Templars, it was based on Sigismund being the Black Knight. I know it's a slight... Yeah. And like the Flesh Terrors, Nasser Amit was the Flesh Terror. Alexis Pollock was the Crimson Fist.
No, the Crimson Fist is not Alexis Pollock's. That's
No, you're right. Sorry, but the point still stands.
The point stands, yeah. Sigismund definitely stands. Alexis, Nasser Amit does to a point stand. Some of them, I think, are based on... I'm trying to remember where the size of the Emperor got their name from. Sometimes, I think it comes down a lot to heraldry and nicknames, yes.
Wasn't it because they were based on Sotha, which translates as Scythe or something?
Maybe. I do know that the size of the Emperor were given Sotha, but they're not like called and there's no lighthouse reference, which was a tragic waste. But
Light Wardens or something. The Emperor's lighthouses.
Blizzard would have bit their head off for Light Warden, probably. But yeah, some of them do seem a little bit random, but sometimes it will come from their founder. Because if you notice, all the Blood Angel and Dark Angel ones still say Angel in their name, pretty much. Not all of them, but most.
Yeah, I was going to say, Consecrators say hi.
Lamenters also say hi, but there's quite a few, particularly in the Dark Angels.
And was it the Blood Swords also say hi? Not having Angel in the name, but hey, that's a different issue.
If all organic life was wiped out on a planet via either Tyranids or Exterminatus, but the planet was left intact, with Necrons sleeping in the planet like in a tomb complex underneath, would they die or no?
Actually, if the Necrons were there, the Tyranids would go in and consume them.
No, Tyranids, I thought they ignored Necrons. They actually went out of their way to avoid them.
No, they'll go after them.
There's conflicting law, because you've got some sources saying there is and some sources saying there isn't. So it's one of those issues where you've got conflicting law about the same thing.
Well, you got to remember, Tyranid fleets don't just go after organic life; they go after minerals as well.
I know that, but there's a thing in the I think it's the 3rd edition Necron Codex saying that the Nids actively avoided Tomb Worlds, and then you see from 5th edition that in the Galaxy map that the Nids are actively converging on Tomb Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a source of contradictory sources essentially.
Yeah, that's
so basically
that pretty much
depends whose side of the story you're looking at, essentially.
Yeah, I was always under the impression that they couldn't consume living metal and went out of their way to avoid it because they couldn't. But
they consume normal metal. They literally break it down to its elemental state.
You're right.
And then
you're right.
And don't forget, living metal is consumable because the Crudes ate it and then they got very sick.
I was going to say, it fucked the Crude.
Yeah, but it still proves that you can still, eat it. You just get sick if you do.
hence why the bugs avoid it. But yes, you're right. When a drop pod has been used on a planet, how do they get it back on the ship?
Well,
I've
Use Thunderhawks.
if it's a Dreadclaw, it just flies back up.
But
Yeah,
if it's not a Dreadclaw?
For the normal part, they kind of just fly down with Thunderhawks and clean them up. They actually have like entire surf quarters dedicated to the recovery of Space Marine vehicles left on planets. They go down with landers, pick them up, and then put them in the landers, and then fly them back up and repair them.
See, this is why the Dreadclaw was such a superior design, just because it could fly. Yeah,
but the Dreadclaw is mostly used in space engagements versus actual like drop podding.
Yeah, they'd be very good for boarding actions. If
they're still
like
used as normal drop pods, though. I mean, Chaos Space still use them.
Well, Space Marines still use them as well.
The ones lucky enough to still have some, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you go by their spaceships, they literally have thousands. Yeah. Same with drop pods. It's just drop pods are smaller and easier.
Fair dues. Okay, this is an interesting. Well, I don't know if it is interesting. Why don't it says do, but they mean don't? Why don't the Salamanders, Raven Guard, Iron Hands, and other lesser first founding chapters? I'm quoting directly here. Why don't they have their own codex? I sort of know the answer to this, but I thought it'd be best to throw it out.
Is it simply because they're not divergent enough from the Codex Astartes to deserve their own codex?
That's the exact reason.
That would be my logic. I mean, the Iron Hands are a bit out there, but their rules reflect that.
The funny thing is, like back in 3rd edition, the Salamanders did have technically their own standalone codex. It was in Codex Armageddon, which had entire separate army lists for Steel Legion, Orc Culture Speed, Black Templars, and Salamanders. Each with their own unique army lists.
Yeah, I was sad to lose the Black Templars in 6th edition into the Space Marine Codex, if I'm being honest. Oh, no, not,
well, they didn't have anything unique. They had neophytes fighting normal squads.
They had neophytes, they had unique war gear, they had Emperor's Champion, they had Hellbrett, they had Grimaldus. I mean, they're just named characters, but yeah, fair enough. And they also had they had a completely different mindset. Their rules were more akin to the Space Wolves than they were to the Ultramarines, because they were a combat army, they were zealous, they were forward-pushing. They were so different to most stuff.
Yeah, and they were just male sisters of battle.
That's actually not a terrible analogy, but...
Except they don't use flamethrowers, they just use swords.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they had no librarians, and their chaplains were very different because they had reclusiarchs and stuff like that, and how they function. They were different enough to deserve
those servitors that were also like chaplain servitors as well.
Yep, the Cenobite servitors, yep, that was another thing they had. You had the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch, I know.
Did it go hallelujah when it blew up, or did it just launch a rabbit?
I can't remember, I'd have to read the 3rd edition codex. But, yeah, the Black Templars maybe did deserve it, and I can see why people would want the Iron Hands, or the Salamanders in particular, because that Salamanders,
even the White Scars, considering the fact that, their whole thing's based on bikes and they got no, not meant to have dreadnoughts or anything like that, so they could theoretically have their own codex that's unique.
Yeah, Dark Angels are cool.
True. Yeah, they could, but at the same time, that would require basically telling people, hey, pick what chapter you want to play before you buy the game. And also, if you want to play a successor chapter, I hope you know what you're doing and don't just homebrew off the top of your head, because you've got...
Idea. Why don't you just do something akin to what they did in 2nd edition with Codex Angels of Death, which was literally the Blood Angels and Dark Angels Codex in one book? Do something similar to that, like, I know, something for like, the Iron Hands and the White Scars, both in one codex, with separate army lists.
So basically just make traitor legions then? Or...
Yeah, actually, that's not actually a bad idea. Something like that would actually be pretty good, I think. And plus you can create, because who can you have then? You can have the White Scars, the Iron Hands, the Black Templars, Salamanders, who else could you have?
The Imperial Fists?
I don't think the Imperial Fist would be too different from the Ultramarines to deserve one, though. Whereas the Salamanders, these sort of Salamanders, you could argue, just give them the old Pyroclast units from Horus Heresy, for example. That's something they can have.
I also don't want to spend $40 on each codex.
at that point, though, you also have to consider at what point do you basically say, well, what do you give the basic Codex? What do you give Codex Ultramarines to make it feel unique if every other legion has got its own unique shit?
Tyrannic War Veterans.
I don't know, maybe the Land Raider Terminus Ultra.
Autarchs. Not the Autarchs. What's it? Tetrarchs.
Ivrain.
Which is canon.
Yeah,
I
interesting
still
idea.
love that I got to ask him that question.
I bet you just love the fact he said, yes, it is canon.
I was so happy about that. And then he
Everything is
giggled
canon,
about...
not everything is true.
Rabuti loves the booty.
I still love that he gave that he laughed
Your
at
English is terrible.
Hey,
He gave
shush your
them
face.
them. Did you say shoe your
I was gonna
face?
say Gav, but I said gave. Oopsie daisy. No, but it was cool that he giggled at that booty killer man.
Indeed. Though he did go into quite a bit of detail about, with the Gearinks and all that, trying to stop them and all that.
Anyway, next question.
Yes, speaking of Primarchs, how would the Imperium differ if, after Chaos stole the Primarchs, the Emperor chose, you know what, fuck this, no point taking the Great Crusade, I'm just going to stay on Terra. But, so, some would die, yes, Angron would have probably died, Mortarion would have probably died, Corax might well have died, no, he'd have been fine.
Corax would have been fine, yeah.
Corax would have been fine. Pert might have died, maybe, because he basically threw his lot in with the Emperor as soon as he arrived, and so on and so on. But some might have built vast empires that might even run into one another. Spoiler alert, Rogue Dawn and Rabute, I just actually called him Rabute for the first time ever, there's no accent on that fucking E. Rabute Gilliman and Dawn had their own empires.
I mean, Lionel Johnson probably would have made his own empire after a good amount of time.
If he wasn't, killed by one of the Order, who Luther stopped, because that's the only reason why Lion survived.
Well, I'm pretty sure Luther would still stop him, and they would have a good relationship.
Well, it depends if he was in a relationship
They'd
with
probably
Empire,
go and get a coffee every now and then, talk about things.
It's like, you're so hairy.
Start a family.
How are they going to start a family?
Adoption is a thing.
Generally not on feudal worlds.
Hey, it would have been a perfectly fine world after Lion got done with it.
Except Caliban.
But how do you know he wouldn't have married a chaos-spined beast?
Because he loved Luther.
Yeah, but this is before he met Luther.
Anyway.
You know I'm right, Alexis.
No, you're not. You will never ruin my shipping.
We're moving on now.
Your ship is in the dock.
Who in the lore is the most disappointing or the biggest failure?
Magnus. Fucking Magnus. Easily.
Are we still
Magnus.
talking about Primarchs?
No. Open field.
Open field. Ooh. Biggest failure.
Almost disappointing.
Biggest failure. Biggest failure.
Perturabo? Perturabo screwed a lot of things up.
Yeah. But then again, he also had post-traumatic stress disorder, so kind of, give him a break. Well, some people just say he was autistic, but it's more akin to probably just having PTSD.
Could have been a number of things, fair enough. Who else then? I know Abaddon is the meme answer, but no.
What's that? Most disappointing. Funny enough, I'm actually going to say Lorgar. He's most disappointing, because when you actually read his backstory, he was so sympathetic, because Corferon was such an utter cunt.
Yeah, Lorgar
that's the only way you can describe Corferon. That's the only way you can describe him. I mean, as Gav said last time, a lot of people used to hate Erebus, then they read that book and they hate Corferon.
I still hate Erebus, but I also hate Corferon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Like Lorgar's not a disappointment in and of himself because he'd actually got a lot of shit done. See the entire Horus Heresy, but in terms of like where his character had the potential to go,
Yeah.
he went from this super sympathetic character stuck under Corferon's boot to rising up, becoming this champion, having the head of his own legion, venerating his true father, blah, blah, blah. And then the heresy happened and he just became generic religious bad guy number 532.
All because the Emperor said, "Stop worshipping me, you little bitch!" Essentially. Biggest failure. I'm going to turn around and say Ferrus and Manus, because he, seemingly did fuck all for having his head cut off.
To be fair, I can't think of a single thing Ferrus Manus did right. Apart from, the forging of Fulgrim's weapon, I can't think of a thing he did right.
He killed a Canoptech Tombstalker with his bare hands, and that's about it.
Oh, yeah, true. That's true. Yeah, Manus... I think maybe there's just a... Actually, no, Manus has got his own novel as well. I just haven't read it.
Well, it's not out yet, that's why.
Oh, that would explain it. Maybe that
it comes out next month.
The funny thing is, Manus might be a failure, but I do kind of like him because, what he wanted for the Iron Hands and what the Iron Hands became are so opposite.
Don't rely on bionics. Got it. Rely on bionics. God damn it.
Yeah, the whole line, the whole quote from I think it's the beginning of Wrath of Iron. These hands have wrought many great things, but they are not my own. I will cleanse my sons and then myself of this and the bomb. Da 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 da. It's actually
what did
you read it.
What say? He said the flesh is weak. Got it.
Quite.
That is completely accurate. Iron within, iron without, iron shake it all about.
That's the Iron Warriors line.
I know, but I still find it funny and I still find it relevant.
Right.
Then a splinter legion forms it called the Iron Feet. Everyone gets a bionic leg and they have to go and kick someone in the balls really hard.
For God's
What about the... Alright, I'm done.
The Buns of Steel Legion, there we go.
The Brass Ball Legion.
Stop.
Only member is Sly Marvo. He's not even a space marine. You want to fight him? Well, no, but... Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to stay quiet.
Yeah, right. Question for Remleiz. Is Belisarius Call trying to repair/recreate the Webray project? While reading Dark Imperium, there is a part that says, during the War of the Beast, Call was deep in his studies of the Emperor's fragmentary research notes, along with mentioning the study of the Old Ones, Necrons, and Eldari tech.
To be honest, I don't really think so. I think he's just more focused right now on A, making sure the Primaris project is, going smoothly, and B, focusing on see if he can get elected as Fabricator General of Mars. I use the term elect loosely. So I'm going to become Fabricator General. It's like, no, you're not. Come on, Gilliman, make me Fabricator General. No. You sound like Rogodon. Shut up.
Question for Alexis and for me. What, if any, rules changes would add to/take away from 8th edition? For example, allowing the vehicle to move and then disembark, allowing drop pods to scatter closer than 9 inches. I'm using the quotation marks as they did. So is there any rule that you would add, or is it something that, some people want to add that would be a disaster if they added it?
Oh, just smite 3 times a turn and that's it.
Yeah, I think this might...
But this edition is pretty perfect as it is. It is one of the best editions that I've ever played in.
Yeah, I'm not going to call this edition... It's probably my favourite edition to play. Probably. I mean, I have nostalgia for 5th edition, but that's because it was my first. So I'm always going to be biased. But as an edition to play, 8th edition is probably the best. I admit, I do have one minor quibble with, how not survivable you are, but at the same time, I agree that if you take it the other way and things were too survivable, the game would be really boring. But it's you're basically playing chess sometimes, and I know that's a really fun tactical aspect and stuff, but having a unit stay alive for more than a turn if it advances or if it's on an objective, that would be nice. But hey, I'm not going to complain. I wouldn't know how to change it.
Michael's just bad at the game.
Well, yeah, I know I'm bad at the game. I'm aware of.
Oh, you were supposed to argue with me.
No, I know I'm bad.
Oh.
Have you seen my win?
He's bad. He's really, really bad. Sorry.
Bear in mind, I've won, I think, 2 battle reports. Yeah. That should say everything it needs to say.
Okay, now I feel bad.
Bad. Really, really bad.
Okay, question. With everything that's going on in McCrag, with the Blood Angels and the Flesh Towers over Primaries Marines, and the whole Dark Angel Primaries angle, not should it be done, do you think that the Primaries Civil War is in the works? Not should they do it, not do you think it's a good idea, yada, yada, yada.
Well,
do you think
aren't
they're
they doing that with that new Dark Angels novel?
Well, that's the question. Well, they're doing a whole, difficult to accept. They're not pushing the Civil War angle. Do you think they will push the Civil War angle?
I really don't think so. The Imperium at large is a little bit too busy to have, so much infighting. They will still have infighting.
Stopped them before.
Well, they still will have infighting between each chapter. Like, the Dark Angels, for instance, are going to be like, yo, Primaris Marines, stay away from the inner circle. But at the same time, they're going to be like, look, we know we need these guys because literally the Eye of Terror is everywhere and we need to fight it at all times.
Yeah, I think the only way they'd ever do the Primaris Civil War angle is going to be if they get to a point in the universe where Gilliman says, right, the Primaris Marines have done their job now, I don't like them, initiate Order 66 equivalent. Which would also never happen because there'll come a point when the Primaris outnumber the regular Marines and then you're fucked.
Unless they have a built-in kill switch in their brain.
Which is not impossible. Okay, this is a question that I kind of need to ask. With the post-Great Rift lore all but completely debunking the theory of Drago being the Silver Knight, I don't know if it has.
Yeah, he's pretty much back now.
Yeah, I knew that much, but
I'm kind of depressed by that, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
Although he might still be it because Slanesh works in mysterious ways.
Not that
and
mysterious.
Does do impersonations.
True.
Not that good.
Yes, yes, she does.
Yeah, but in fairness, that's more of a Zinch's territory, though, in fairness.
Yeah,
that is.
Are you saying that Slanesh can do a better changeling than the changeling? Because that's what you're basically having to say. That Drago can go up to every Grandmaster of the Grey Knight and fool them all.
I'm a pirate!
Yes.
That seems unlikely to me, but okay. So anyway, with the theory being...
Does that mean, TTS Drago is literally just a changeling, just failing to comprehend what it is to communicate with mortals? That's why he says such stupid shit.
Anyway, with the theory being all but debunked, are there any other viable candidates that we know about?
There's one that sticks out like a sore thumb.
What, Lehman Russ?
Nathaniel Garrow.
He dead, though.
Yeah,
he's not.
Doesn't mean that you're gone.
Also, when was he ever confirmed dead? I know he is dead.
I'm just saying he's dead. But then again, who's in... I know it's not silver, it's grey, but Lehman Russ, he's in the warp.
And to be fair, Garrow's armour was actually... Yeah, actually, this is funny. I was reading that... you know how Grey Knights have silver armour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Because they don't paint it.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they actually painted it with silver and it had warding in it or whatever. I assumed it was painted silver, but it's not. I just found that kind of weird that it's not painted.
Although I do, one thing has always bugged me: the Death Guard don't paint their armor either, and it's white.
Yeah, this is a point.
I know, maybe because Mark III and Mark IV was made out of fine cast, so it has that coloration to it.
But to be fair, ceramite you'd expect to be whitish because it's ceramic.
Well, in a Towns of Horus, when they're walking through an acid storm, the two Chaos Space Marines armor gets completely like nullified of all coloring and everything, and they're just silver.
I'm just going to say the slightly newer marks of armor were silver and the older ones were like white.
Well, it doesn't make sense because the Cataphractii Terminator, well, yeah, they were older. But even the Tartarus Terminator armor was white.
Yeah, but it was still older than compared to the what's the new one? Indomitus? No, is it Indomitus?
Indomitus is the new armor, yeah.
Yeah, that's the current Terminator armor, so which will be silver.
No, Indomitus I think is one of the new Primaris armors.
No, that's
Yeah, I think that is Indominus.
What is the current Terminator armor?
It's not Maximus.
No, it's not Maximus.
It's not. I don't know if they call it a Keeler pattern. I know Power Armor Mark 7 is a Keeler pattern. I don't know if they call the Terminator pattern a Keeler.
Anyway, it's not that important, though.
No, I suppose it isn't.
Let's move on to the next question.
Sister's question.
I can answer this.
Since Sister Repentiers are just supposed to die and not have any kind of, ranking system, where do Repentia mistresses come from?
The mistresses themselves come from the Canoness Order.
They're Canonesses?
Essentially, yes. It's right before they become a Canoness.
Then why are they so fucking flimsy?
Because they're in lighter armor.
But in the terms of their wound count and stuff.
Oh, because Canonesses need to have a point.
Take your point.
Oh, I was right. It is Indomitus for the modern Terminator armor.
Oh, oops. Okay, final question, bit for everybody. For Alexis, do you think the Primaris will get even more toys in the near future, or will there be a arbitrary length hiatus to cool down and let, for example, Chapter approved have its effects before they add anything that could boost or nerf them as a whole?
Well, as it stands right now, the Primaris Marines on the tabletop are kind of really bad. Like, they're not that good. And this is coming from a competitive scene, not a casual scene. In casual game, they're really good. They're decent, but their lack of affordable transports. And I know somebody's going to point out, oh, well, what about their hover tank that has like a bazillion guns on it? I mean affordable when I say affordable, because that tank dies in one turn to like 3 Malta shots. Where a Rhino can survive, well, my repressors can survive that.
But that's through Sister's bullshit.
Yes, through a 5-up Invo save. Because I'm a jerk. But I can't help but feel that the Primaris Marines are meant to get newer players into the game and introduce something desperately needed into the fluff, which is new Marines. Because all the books have kind of hit up the Marines too much to the point where they're desperately looking for new recruits. So they were definitely needed. It's just their impact on the tabletop is kind of meh. They're tactical Marines with 1 less wound with a crap weapon. The only good ones are the Hellblasters and the Heavy Hellblasters.
The aggressors.
No, the ones with the heavy Hellblast gun thingy.
I don't know who they are.
They're the normal Hellblasters, but they have a heavy version of the gun.
Oh, joy.
Yeah. And that's really it.
Yeah, the Primaris, they've done their job in a tabletop sense of being an interesting army on aesthetics that have some cool stuff and aren't breaking the game so that all new players feel like a god and that anyone who doesn't play them and starts the game with a different army doesn't feel like shit.
Yeah.
But they are still quite limited in terms of what they can do because they've got two infantry, 2 or 3 infantry, one of which is like super heavy infantry.
They have the Reavers, which no one should take because they're garbage. They have the Inceptors, which are essentially jump pack Marines with 2 heavy bolters each. They're decent, but not great. They can also take plasma guns. Why would you want? You would have to take a jump pack captain to go with them.
Or just play Dark Angels.
Yes, or play Dark Angels. I mean, they'll be really good in the Dark Angels book.
The hunters
that's
don't move,
where
but yeah.
that's where I suspect that they will actually be really good as Dark Angels.
Yeah, Primaris
Dark
and
Angels
Dark
and
Angels.
Ultramarines.
Yep, I can see that logic. But you didn't want to introduce this new army and then have it break the game, because that would have just...
It kind of made I don't want to say it. They introduced it perfect. It is not broken. It is not underpowered. It's just there. It's the perfect casual game.
Yeah, that's fair.
Even their super heavy is pretty tame.
The Astraeus.
Yep.
Fair dues. I mean, the thing's a fucking monster in terms of appearances.
Oh, yeah. I really like the way it looks.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like where Primaris are at, and they do need more lore, but we're getting the books for that. And they do need named characters, but we're getting a bit of that. And they could probably... Call me controversial, but I think one of the best things they could do for Primaris is to upgrade somebody. Because it gives you... Because that's the one problem I have with... Well, it's a problem I have with Primaris, is you've got nobody to invest in, nobody to give a shit about. They're just nameless jobbers. They're just there. They're just there. If you... Let's take Pedro Cantor, because obviously the Crimson Fist love the Primaris Marines so much, and you make him a Primaris, all of a sudden, Primaris players now have a character to invest in, get behind, and collect. I don't know. I think that might be call it controversial to do that to a named character that we have, but I wouldn't call it a terrible idea.
Well, funny enough, the only named character who has been upgraded to a Primaris was Diomedes from Dawn of War, because he's now a Primaris chaplain.
Yeah, but nobody knows that guy unless you play Dawn of War.
You also have Katos Acadius.
He's just
vanished.
I know, but he so looks like him.
How does he look like him? He just looks like an old Ultramarines captain.
Yeah,
Yep,
his helmet's old school.
And I'm okay with that.
But yes, the Primaries have their ups, they have their downs. I actually did a full video on them this week, so there's my shameless plug for the week. Quite.
To quote the Sisters of Battle, they have their place.
That's my line.
Actually, it's from Dawn of War, Soulstorm. The sisters always say, "We know our place."
That was my line when talking about Tau last edition, when everyone was ragging on them.
Yeah, they had their place. It was a garbage can.
Insert meme of Tau women prefer human men here.
Okay, good. I'm glad you went with that.
Why?
Good. Nothing. Don't worry about it. Next question. Let's go. Let's just go. Don't worry about it.
Orcs believe red makes things go faster, and they do. So if an orc is red, does that mean that they do everything faster?
It depends how much faith those orcs have in that particular orc.
Well, I mean, blue war paint can literally make bullets just magically miss or bounce off. Or is that just fantasy?
Luck.
Yeah, because blue's lucky, which is why the Death Skulls have it, because they nick fucking everything. So yeah, the power of, they're painted a different color and believe it is lucky / does this thing, therefore it does this thing, is a thing.
Well, it's more or less them channeling their natural raw energy into a certain piece of machinery or a certain character, and thus amplifying his abilities.
Yeah, but why would an orc paint themselves red when they can paint themselves purple, make themselves invisible?
Wait,
why not put a checker pattern on him and make him dead hard?
Well, Michael, have you ever seen a purple orc?
God damn it.
Yes, actually, I paint half my... actually, all my shooter boys have got purple jackets, so yes, kind of.
Yeah, but they're still technically green now, aren't they?
Details.
I saw a purple orc. Remember that glitch?
Anyway.
I guess not that.
Anyway.
I know exactly what you meant, it just wasn't funny, sorry. And that's the questions that I've seen here in my search through the questions. There may have been some that have either I've had to skip over or that just did not show up. But if you do want to leave us a question for next time, do feel free to do so in the comments below with the word question.
In the front of it, so we can find it easy.
Yeah, ideally on the front of it so we can find it. Yeah, that's pretty much your questions.
Oh, is it ranting time?
Yes.
Go for it.
Okay, so Celestine is completely unkillable now.
She wasn't already?
No, well, yes, you had to kill her in 3 phases to put her down. But now, thanks to a certain stratagem, which I would like to read really quickly once I find it. I gotta bookmark this, because it's the only reason I bought this book. Because Sisters of Battle are awesome in it. Okay. So, here's the stratagem. Martyrdom. Use this stratagem at the end of a phase in which an Adeptus Sororitas character from your army has been slain. Remove that unit from the battlefield. Roll a d6. On a 2+, that unit from your army can... a unit from your army with the Act of Faith ability can perform an Act of Faith. Now, at first that doesn't seem that... Well, that seems amazing. Okay? Now I'm going to tell you why it's even more amazing. Celestine's entire unit, including the 2 Geminis, have the character keyword. If any one of them dies, you can, at the end of that phase, immediately do an Act of Faith. Which, if you do the certain Act of Faith, you can actually revive a member of that squad. Meaning, if the 2 Geminis are alive, and Celestine died for the second time and is permadead, you can actually use the Act of Faith to revive one model from that squad. Celestine's 2 Geminis and her become a unit, meaning you can revive Celestine. Also, you could do this with an Imagifier, you could do this with a Hospitaller.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
How did that get through QA?
Well, you see, because Sister of Battle Squads are $110 and nobody buys them. And now they're just making them broken to sell them.
But still, how did that get
also,
through QA?
Let's talk about their next most powerful ability ever. On a 4+, you don't do... I just negate your psychic power.
That's a thing in several armies.
On a 4+, just flat out, 4+, I negate something.
Black Templars, World Eaters, this is not new.
Okay, good armies. I know somebody that is screaming at me right now. They don't hear this right now, but they know it in their heart and are screaming.
Right. So was that a rant, or is that you just fangirling because your army is now amazing?
My army was always amazing, and now it's even better. Also, we got a friggin' sword that deals 3 damage. There's a reason to take power swords.
Well, good.
No, I'm sorry, but chapter approved. At first I wasn't sure about this book. I thought it was going to be like a stupid little, hey, spend $35, get the updated rules. And now I'm looking at it more and more. All the missions, all the everything in it. It makes the game a little bit more in-depth and a lot more fun to play. I highly suggest that if you don't have this book, get it.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I'd say get it just for the missions, like adding 12 new missions to the game and then adding Planet Strike and Apocalypse and Stronghold Assault. That's enough. The fact you're then getting, even if you're not a match player, the fact you're then getting a pseudo balance pass and a bunch of extra rules is just a bonus. Like, the missions alone sell that book.
I completely agree. But yeah, that is my rant for the week.
Remleiz?
I forgot what mine was going to be.
I think you were going to piss and moan about a certain fan telling you were wrong.
Oh, yes, someone claiming that so-and-so never said a certain quote in any book, despite the fact I provided the book, and the page number, and the chapter number.
Oh, dear. I don't quite have... Well, my rant is a little bit... Yeah, okay. So this is going to take a little bit of explaining. So I had a comment basically saying the Iron Cage makes no sense because that's just not the way it works. Why the hell would the Iron Warriors need to die in the Iron Cage to wipe out the Imperial Fist? So I replied to this and said, I think... Sorry. Sorry, you thought you were going to say something. Never mind.
No.
Sorry. So I come back in and I say, well, I think it's because the losses the Iron Warriors would take would just be so severe that, they'd basically never rebuild, especially if Perturabo had to die to kill Dawn and diddly-diddly-dee. To which they basically went on a bit of a rant and said, you know what, I've just decided to ignore portions of the plot because that I have to rewrite novels in my head for all it to make sense. What the fuck?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Okay, I'm really tired of pro-loyalist bias in literature. We have traitors to just be a punching bag for the incredible exploits of the heroes. Sometimes it's so pathetic I have to rewrite the novel in my head for it to be feasible and not complete.
They have read, say, the Horus Heresy books, no? Where the traitors are generally given more of a spotlight.
They're always given more of a spotlight. They all look... All the traitors you can actually, agree with. All of the Imperials, it's kind of like, they're there. They're the good guys.
Well, in fairness, I just finished Deliverance Lost today for a second time just because I need to research a specific thing from regards to Korax. And, the Imperials, they do get some good stuff dedicated to them. They, for example, Unremembered Empire. That's a good pro-Imperial novel. Deliverance Lost is also a good pro-Imperial novel, but you also got some good pro-Chaos novels, like, say, Betrayer. That was, one of the best ones in regards to the traitors. Fulgrim's is another good one.
Fulgrim's is a perfect one.
Now,
See what they did there?
Betrayer's still a better book, but that's beside the point.
Oh, you want to fight?
Yeah, behind the bike sheds, bring it.
Quite. The comment goes... The comment thread goes on a bit, and it ends off with, I love 40k lore, I understand how everything runs and what is according to the lore and what isn't. Sadly, a lot of writers have a lot lower standards when it comes to their own work than I do as a fan. Double what the fuck? Okay, let me just... Okay, I'm... Alright, brace yourselves, this might be the fullest rant I've had in a damn long time.
Ooh.
Okay, right. If you have a problem with the way the lore is written, then I'm sorry, tough shit. Because the way the lore is written, this is the beauty of our job as lore guys, as theorists, as, well, us as a community. We try to take what we know, make sense of it, justify X, Y, Z, A, B, and C, make it all fit together and make a cohesive plot to try and justify these characters. If you are just willing to ignore 85% because it doesn't fit with what you think your blinkered vision of the universe is, that is pointless, because one, you're cutting yourself off from 85% of the universe, which is just dumb, because this universe is so fucking amazing that you really have to see it all, and two, just why? Why? You're not giving your characters room to develop, you're not giving subplots a chance, you're not giving new ideas a chance. It just makes no goddamn sense, and just, seriously, just... If you have a problem with a piece of lore, I have problems with some pieces of lore that make no sense. What, that backflipping goddamn Terminator and the Land Raider that transformed into a Razorback and back again, or was it the other way around? I don't know, I don't care. It's a still stupid piece of lore. But most of the time, it's not a case of just writing off 85% of novels and trying to rework them into what you think the lore is. It's a case of trying to fit it into the established canon and make it all work together without just writing it off and rewriting it, because that's not what the writer intended. Yes, the writers make mistakes. Yes, Black Library is not perfect, but for God's sake, they're doing a better job than 99.9 recurring percent of us would ever do. In
fairness, it's not as bad as those people who only take the lore from first edition and ignore everything else and say that Black Library ruins the lore. It's like, but Black Library is the lore.
It's the same logic, though.
Yeah.
Well, there's a certain other channel that just headcanons everything.
The point remains, you cannot just ignore a huge amount of this lore. Yeah, this lore isn't perfect. Yeah, there are plot holes. Yeah, there are Deus Ex Machinas like in Ivrain. There are problems with this lore, but There's problems with everything. You can't just rework it so it looks presentable to you. That if you apply that to any other in a setting other than lore, like God, the consequences of just reshaping everything to your own vision is just that gives me the creeps. That concept.
Does this end up with, so and so reshaping the lore to their own standards, so they end up having an orgy with a bunch of hospitaliers or something?
I don't know. I don't want to know. Let's please wipe that thought from my brain immediately.
The thing is, a lot of people, for some reasons, I've seen this quite a lot from quite a few people. A lot of people don't seem to understand the concept of a retcon. I mean, considering the fact that some people say, like, yeah, but this really old law contradicts this new law, therefore the new law doesn't count. No, if the new law contradicts the old law, then the new law has retconned the old law.
That is the general rule.
I mean, case in point. Originally, the Imperial Fists found Rogaldorn's skeleton. Now it's been retconned to just finding his hand.
Second case in point, Mark III power armor was originally developed to fight the squats. Now it is used for space combat and other frontal assaults.
Though in fairness, it still said it was developed during the intense battles at the core worlds.
Oh yeah, they make reference to the idea.
The world's close to the galactic core, so you could say it's still referencing the squats, just not saying it out and out.
Yes, but there are very few things get retconned, and generally we try and work around retcons.
Yeah.
So, for example, like Necron pariahs have probably been retconned, but we can't rule out the fact that they might still be kind of a thing. So,
and considering, let's not forget the greatest Necron pariah of them all, Thomas. That was literally the name of a infamous Necron pariah. It's like Thomas Maccabee.
Yes, I remember the name now that you say it.
It's like I just find it funny, like a Necron called Thomas. That's just hilarious.
Indeed. I think, yeah, there are some things about the lore that I don't like. Yeah, there are some things that if I were capable of rewriting it, I might want to rejig a little bit. And there is definitely a lot of holes in it that I would like to fill in, like why does Grimaldus have the Cenobite servitors when he said literally at the end of Hell's Reach, I'm giving the relics back? That makes no goddamn sense. But at the end of the day, 40k lore is what it is because it's developed and evolved over time, and we've done what we can to create a universe that makes sense and to theorize ideas. It is what it is because we've let it be what it is.
I'm still trying to figure out why Captain Eidolon of the Emperor's Children died in the Reflection Cracked and then came back in Path of Heaven.
I think he was resurrected.
Oh.
I'm 90% he was then resurrected by Bile. I know I wrote about my Emperor's Children more. I'll let you know when the call ends.
Okay.
But yes, there are things we would change, and there are things that are not perfect. But we don't change them. We don't rewrite them because, well, it just wouldn't be the same. For all its faults and all its quirks and all its BS, this is 40k. Leave it the fuck alone, in a lore sense.
But female space marines.
And let's not get into that conversation that Korax said in Deliverance Lost with the new with the Raptor project. We can take any child and make him into a space marine. Any child. It said just like the accentuation is right on the word any. So it's like,
Yeah,
and it's the same. And I rant about this a little bit in my video on Monday when I talked about the Primaries Marines, but the idea of the Primaries Marines being improving on the Emperor's work, thus BS because heresy. Fuck right
Korax did it.
Off. Korax did it.
Simpsons
Do you
did
think
it.
Gilliman would sanction Cole to do it without the Emperor's approval? Because I can guarantee they talked about it in that conversation in the Golden Throne Room. Also, the Emperor's work was fucking useless. Well, it wasn't useless, but it was pretty shitty. Look at how bad all the Primarchs turned out personality-wise, and how many Chaos Space Marines we have these days, because Space Marines are fucking fallible, motherfucker. And it's just a stupid argument, and it needs to die in an exterminatus. Or as someone...
Just like my hopes and dreams.
Hey!
Actually, I'm going to rephrase something I said last week, because more than one person called out in the comments and said it was a fantastic line. Shove off and fall into a warp portal. People found that line weirdly amusing in the comments last week.
That's going to be your catchphrase from now on.
Well, it
I like
beats
the warp
exasperated
edit.
sigh.
Huh? Say that again. So you both spoke at the same time. I didn't hear any of you.
It beats exasperated sigh, being my catchphrase.
True. But you still got to say Alexis' intro one time.
There you go. And yeah, we did sort of ditch the warp did it quite quickly, didn't we? As Alexis
No.
pointed out.
No, we
But
said we had Gav actually say that.
But when are we going to get someone to say hive ship sex?
Fuck off.
Hive ship sex.
There you go.
It's how Cronus was made. When
They
a mommy
squirted one
Tyranid and a daddy Slanesh get together, they make Hive Fleet Cronus.
Stop it.
Well, are you going to question all the tentacles?
I would question why the Hive Cronus are the anti-psycho ones and like the sort of, not quite anti-demon, but you get where I'm going with it, ones.
Well, each hive fleet has evolved for different adaptations in different combat zones.
Oh yeah, I completely
So
agree.
Cronus is like, so basically the hive fleets are like going, we need someone to take out those, sparkly boys from, the other side. There we go. You can go and do
I
it.
know, Kronos' existence I have no problem with, it doesn't fit Alexis' argument.
I don't think that was an argument as much as just a funny point of pointing out Tyranid sex. Hashtag hive ship sex.
And apparently in the Space Wars omnibus there is Nurgle Nid, so take that for what you will. I've yet to read it personally, but apparently there's Nurgle Nids.
Just because you can fight chaos doesn't mean you're immune to it.
True. And that being
True.
said, don't forget Chaos Genestealer cults were a thing.
Yep.
Still a thing.
Still a thing, yeah.
Yeah, I think the only
Just like the four-armed Genestealer Patriarch Avatar of Cain.
Yes.
Oh yes. But yeah, I
Beauty.
think the only thing that's actually been shown to be chaos proof to any extent is the Grey Knights. Because it's
For now.
for now. I mean, full credit to
Incorruptible would say something different about that, but
Well, Incorruptible was about a Genestealer cult.
yes, but what's Chaos Corruption? It's it's psychically based mainly. And how was this Grey Knight corrupted? Through psychic means.
Well, they also got him free of it and still killed him for no reason.
Well, yeah, because he was tainted. He fell to corruption, and therefore it's like, you fell to corruption, you fucked up as a Grey Knight, so we're going to tie you to this torpedo and shoot you at a planet. True
Grey Knights
story.
are silly.
Grey Knights are silly. What do you expect? They're being led by Caldor Drago.
That's
Well,
true.
well, they're kind. Actually,
Go
speaking of
Drago boots!
Speaking of Drago, the Terminus Decree is on the table.
Yep.
Eek.
So, well, time to pull the life support. Star Child returns!
It was actually Caldor Draco the whole time.
Now, the Terminus Decree was actually a plot by the Chaos Cultists to kill the Emperor, and then Drago reveals himself as the Silver Knight of Slanesh. I killed the anathema! Here's my ham!
If they do that, that would be the biggest swerve of the century, and I don't know whether I'd love them or hate them.
They'll only do that.
Cadia would unexplode out of sheer amazement.
They will only do that if Vince Russo became part of creative.
Yeah, that would be an incredible.
I wonder how many
swerve.
people in the comments will actually get that.
I don't know. I honestly don't. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, is there anything else to add?
2 + 2.
Oh my god. Are we done? Can we just...
This has been the memeiest episode in quite a while. After the sort of sedate, quite, in-depth discussion we had with Gav
We had to
last
make up for
time,
lost time.
That is true.
I suppose so.
We should ask ADB to join us one time.
By all means. I'm down.
Yeah, I'm down. He's doing an AMA at the moment, so jump on the Reddit and ask him.
I don't have a Reddit.
Neither do I.
Neither do I. Damn it!
Alright, so none of us can do it.
He
Should
follows
I?
you on Twitter. You can ask him. You can send him a
I
message.
can shoot him a message.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I think we're done now. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Adeptus Podcastus. This was a rather interesting episode. We watched Michael have a meltdown that wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
Well,
So it was a pseudo meltdown. It was just a bit of an angry rant that I needed to vent. That's probably venting my frustration at the French university system at the same time.
And Remleiz was Remleiz, as always.
when am I not?
Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Love you guys. Bye.